Hi everyone, welcome to the new Transcend Design Generator interface. My name is Adam Tank, and today I will be walking you through some of the new features that we've incorporated into the software to help our clients create and design and assess many different alternatives for wastewater treatment facilities. So today I've gone ahead and logged into the software, and the first screen that we have is a project screen. So it's basically just to put a few things about the project in here. In this case, we're going to do an example for Denver Water and their wastewater resource recovery facility. One of the new options that we have added is the ability to select both metric and imperial units. So because this is in the US, I'll go ahead and select imperial. And we've also added a selection for treatment objectives. And the reason that this is important is because it populates a list of recommended values later on in the software around influent and effluent characteristics. We'll go ahead and move on to the next screen. One of the most requested features by far was the ability to design for existing sites or sites with existing assets. So in this case, if we type in Denver, it will take us to Denver. If you had the exact address of the treatment facility, of course, you could type that in as well. But in Denver, we know that Denver's wastewater treatment facility is just to the northeast of the city. So what I'll do is zoom into this site. And the site is quite large, but what we will do is grab the view that we want and move on to the next screen, where we will be marking the site boundaries and some of the assets in order for the software to design and optimize site layout based on the real constraints of the site. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'll be doing is creating first a perimeter of the site. And what I'm telling the software right now is when you go to design this facility, you only have this amount of land to work with. So now I'm done. We've drawn the border of the site here. And now what we want to do is tell the software there are going to be some places where we don't want to use land, or we cannot use the land on certain parts of the site. So there might be some exclusion zones or some underground utilities, or maybe there's existing assets, clarifiers that you don't want to build upon or you cannot demolish or that you need to repurpose. So I'm going to go ahead and just as an example use two clarifiers to do these. So we'll put two no build zones on these clarifiers. So now the software will know when it goes to design this plan or upgrade this facility and put in new treatment technology as an example, this is the land that it can use, this full perimeter, and these are two places where it cannot put new assets. We'll go ahead and move on to the next screen. So now that we have the existing site mapped out, we can go ahead and put in some of the characteristics of the influent, flow data, and effluent. So what I'll be doing is using the recommended parameters. As I mentioned earlier, we've selected strict effluent requirements. So these parameters, these recommended inputs are based off of that selection. So in this case, we'll use these two, and anything with a star is required. So we'll use the 5 MGD for design flow here today as an example. And we will then move to the influent. Again, I will be using the recommended parameters here. And on the effluent side, I will do the same. So the BOD, the TSS, and we'll use TN as the nitrogen limit type. All right, so let's say that Denver is going from some unnamed process to MBR. And what we'll be doing is selecting that technology on the screen. So we'll have an optimized selection for the grit chamber. Again, the flow equalization will be optimized selection by the software. Let's say there is a primary clarifier, which we know that there are. So we can add in the loading rates here so that you can actually tell the software what the hydraulic loading rates are of the clarifiers. And we'll be selecting MBR for the treatment type. So no requirement on the trains. Again, a number of other options, but just wanted to show you some of the newer features. On the MBR side, we have a number of suppliers, and we're adding more each and every week. And finally, we now have the project ready to go. So after I hit submit, in a few hours, a complete design package will be ready. Thanks for viewing.